going to be all, or has been all about balance and stability. So when we talk about balance and stability, we're talking about engaging in our core muscles and our stabilizing muscles, particularly the intrinsic ones, so not the so big ones, the little kind of fiery muscles that we tend to forget about. So I'm not going to talk too much at the start. I'll kind of talk you through as we go through the class. But I guess the main things to think about is I want you to really use the poses this morning to touch into where those imbalances might be within your body. So notice if one hip is popping out a little bit more than the other. Notice if you're a little bit more stable on one leg than the other. So things like that, just touching in with the body as we go through the poses. And then generally those poses where you feel the imbalances are actually the poses that we need to be doing a little bit more of to work on the imbalances, just to straighten into them. So it's quite a strong class this morning. Again, if at any stage you need to take a little break, please do. Make sure to keep yourselves hydrated. Again, I've been keeping the classes quite active the last couple of days too, because the temperature has dropped, so we'll keep it nice and warm this morning. A few pointers, just when you're doing your balance poses, really try to engage with the belly breath. So try not to just stop the breath in the chest, okay? We want to get it nice and deep, and that will actually help us engage with, say, our abdominal and our core muscles, and then bring the breath slowly up through the body. And then that will actually help us engage with the balance, so if we just focus on the breath. Gaze is really important, so if we want to make the pose a little bit more challenging, we can either take the gaze up or we can have a moving point of reference. If we feel a little bit unstable or we want to ground ourselves, we can look to the ground, and that will just allow us kind of get back into our balance, get rid of the shakes. Yeah, I think that's kind of it to start with. So just coming to, we're going to do a similar enough start to our Tuesday morning class. So we're going to start by sitting back on the heels with the knees together. Again, if you're finding that in the knees, if it's a little bit too much, you can always get a towel or a little bit of cushioning and place it underneath the kneecaps just to release the knees here. And again, particularly cyclists find this pose quite tricky because they might be a little bit tight into the quads and hips. So you can always get a little block, place it between your feet and then just sit back. So try to make yourself comfortable, but try not to avoid the pose. So generally if it's a tricky pose, it's often something that maybe we need to focus on doing. So do try to take the time to get into that pose. We're just going to open the palms to the ceiling, draw the shoulder blades up toward the ears and then draw them together down the spine, and just feel that nice long spine, feel that nice length in the neck, engagement in the abdominals. And we're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up, interlocking fingers, press the palms to the ceiling, and as we exhale, press the palms forward and away, releasing through the shoulder blades. So we're going to do that twice more. Inhale, arms out, reaching up, maybe taking the gaze up, interlocking fingers, and then exhale, pressing it forward and away. Nice active arms here. Last one, inhale, arms out, reaching up. See if you can bring those arms almost to brush the ears. Interlock the fingers, and then exhale, press it forward and away. Lovely. From here, we're going to come right up onto our knees. If it's a little bit too much in the knees, again, you can place a towel underneath it to take the pressure off the kneecaps. We're going to bring the hands to hips and just bring the knees about hip width distance apart. So you have about a fist between the knees here. We're going to step that right foot out to the side so that the outer blade of that right foot is parallel to the end of the mat and that hip is stacked over the left knee. And we're going to keep the right hand on the hip and we're going to inhale that left arm toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to reach the left arm over to the right as far as we can go, but try to keep the chest open and try to keep working that left shoulder blade back. So try not to reach forward. We're not looking for forward fold here. We're trying to create that nice space into the body. So most of us, if you're anything like me, you've been curled up in a little ball for the last 6 to 8 hours. So we're trying to open up into the front of the body, release, counter that movement. Every inhale, see if you can stretch a little bit more through the fingertips. And every exhale, just lean a little bit more to the right. So you should feel this on the inner right thigh here as well as that nice release into the waist. We're going to inhale back to center. As we exhale, we're going to place that left hand down on the ground beside us with the fingertips pointed away. Feel that connection of the hand on the earth. We're going to inhale that right foot off the ground and then we're going to try to bring that right foot up in line with the hip. Keep that right foot nice and active. So what often happens here, we get to about here because we are working our hip flexors and then our glutes just aren't turning on. So that's what we need to work on. Again, just listen to those little pointers. We're going to hold it out here, maybe extending that right arm up toward the ceiling, maybe taking the gaze up toward the ceiling if we want to challenge the balance. So with our balance poses, the less points of contact on the ground, the trickier it's going to be. Okay, so if you want to challenge yourself, you're trying to make your base smaller. If you need a little bit more stability, you're going to make your base a little bit bigger. Hold for 3, lift that leg for 2, and 1. We're going to release the right foot down onto the ground, and then we're going to extend that right arm overhead. Again, try to get the arm almost brushing to the ear here. Nice active right arm. We're going to hold it here, just enjoying that stretch for 3, for 2, really reaching through the fingertips, and 1. As we inhale, we're going to bend the right elbow and right knee in to touch. They don't have to totally touch. Exhale, extend it out. Hover that right foot off the ground. Inhale, right elbow, right knee to touch. Exhale, extend. Continue with your own breath. See if you can follow the right middle finger with the gaze. So really challenging that balance. So there's loads of lovely balance poses that we can do in stillness. And they're good. They're very good for calming the mind, for coming back to your center. But where the real challenge is trying to keep the balance as we move. So when you think most of us are moving most of our days, even at night. So again, we want to keep our balance strong in the moving planes. Last one in. Exhale, extend, and then rest that right foot down. We're going to bring the right hand back to the waist. Try to engage the abs here to slowly bring ourselves up to center. From here, we're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, we're going to press back through the hips and reach forward through the hands. Legs stay the same. Reach, 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 reach as far as we can go. And then we can place the fingertips out in front. We might come down fully onto the hands. And then just release the head and neck here. Every inhale, see if we can walk those fingertips forward a little bit more. Every exhale, see if we can sit back a little bit more toward that left heel. So just release the chest toward the ground each exhale. Getting a little bit more into that hip, a little bit more in between the shoulder blades. For 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly tucking the chin in. We're going to walk the hands back toward the body. Bringing both hands to the hips. And then we're going to step that right knee to the left. Same thing on the other side. When you're ready, we're going to extend that left foot out. Again, try to keep the hip over the knee. It tends to kind of fall into the center. So we want to try to keep that hip nice and stable. Hands to hips. We're going to keep that left hand here. Extend the right arm up. And as we exhale, we're going to reach that right arm over to the left. But keep the chest open. Keep drawing that shoulder back and maybe take the gaze up. Every inhale, extend through the fingertips. Every exhale, hinge a little bit more to the left. So we're feeling that nice extension along the right side, into the front of the body, and into that inner left thigh. Hold for 3. Really active arm for 2. And 1. Inhale back to center. And as we exhale, we're going to rest that right hand down beside us, fingertips pointed away. Keep the left hand to the hip to start with. And then we're going to inhale, lift that left foot off the ground with control. Keep the left foot nice and active. So we're drawing the left toe toward the knee. And again, notice if those glutes are firing and see if it's a little bit easier on one side than the other. So again, just checking in with the imbalances and then using the pose to try to engage with those muscles. We might extend that left arm up toward the ceiling. We might even take the gaze up. Keep the abdominals engaged here for 3, for 2, and 1. Resting the left foot down, we're going to extend that left arm up overhead. And again, draw the left shoulder back. So feel the space in the side as well as the front of the body. Maybe taking the gaze toward that left middle finger. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to inhale, bend left elbow, left knee in. Exhale, extend it out and reach, hovering that foot about an inch off the ground. Inhale, drawing it in. Exhale, extend. Continue with your own breath. Control the movement. The slower these movements, the more you're having to really rely on those muscles and those joints working in tandem. So it's a lot easier just to move quickly through the pose, not thoroughly engaging in the muscles. So really try to bring a little bit of mindful movement to your pose this morning. Last one in. Exhale, extend. We're going to rest that left foot down. Bring the left hand back to the waist. Engage the abdominals to slowly bring ourselves up to center. From here, we're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, we're going to press back through the hips. Keep the spine long as we reach forward through the fingertips. So spine is nice and long. We're going to rest the fingertips onto the ground. Maybe rest the hands onto the ground. We're going to inhale, press the chest forward, and as we exhale, see if we can fold a little bit deeper. Again, allow the head, neck, chest, relax toward the ground. Every inhale, see if we can walk those fingertips forward a little bit more. And again, every exhale, we're sinking a little bit deeper toward the ground. Maybe even resting the head onto the ground or onto a block if you're quite close. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Tucking the chin in, we're going to slowly walk the hands back toward the body. Hands back to the hips, and then we're going to step that left knee in to meet the right with control. Lovely. From here, we're going to come onto all fours, so into our tabletop. So we're grounding the hands to the front of the mat. Just check in, all the fingers are nicely spread, so a nice wide foundation here. Our shoulders are over our elbows, over our wrists, and our elbow creases face forward. Notice if you can lift the fingertips off the mat, and if you can, just draw the chest forward a little bit more so we're not dumping it into those wrists. Knees are about hip width distance apart, and those hips are stacked directly over the knees. We're going to inhale, press the chest forward, gaze up toward the ceiling, arching through the spine. Exhale, pressing into the ground as we curl through the spine, take the gaze to the belly. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching the spine. Exhale, pressing into the ground and then stretching through those shoulder blades. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, curling through and release. Continue with your own breath. Maybe even closing down the eyes here and just really trying to center in on the movement. So not so much what it looks like, more so what it feels like. So imagining every single last facet along the spine opening up with the movement. Feel the energy flow, the blood flow. So again, we're thinking about our spines as the trunk of our tree. So when it comes to our balance, if a tree is too stiff, it might be strong, but if it's too rigid, if it's too stiff, and then a big storm or wind comes, it's generally going to break. Whereas we want our bodies to sway with that storm. So we're trying to bring strength, but we're also trying to keep mobility, and particularly in through the spine, in through the core. Anywhere it feels particularly niggly, maybe take an extra couple of breaths into that space. So use the movement. And again, you cannot do enough of your cat-cow curls. Just a lovely way of keeping that fluidity into the back. Whenever you're ready, we're going to meet back in center, back into our tabletop. A little bit of balance here. We're going to inhale, extend out through the right arm, and then we're going to press back through the left foot, pressing away through the heel. Just checking that that left wrist is directly under the shoulder here. And then we're going to bend the left knee and press the left foot up toward the ceiling. So notice here if the belly starts to drop and you're jumping into the lower back. So we might need to tilt the pelvis under, so suck the belly up toward the back of the spine. Feel that lower back release and then engage that left glute to get that lift. We're going to hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Extend that left foot back. We're going to inhale center. As we exhale, we're going to reach the right arm to the right and the left foot to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right arm to right, left foot to left. Inhale center. Exhale it out. Keep those abdominals engaged. 2 more. Exhale. Last one. Exhale it out. We're going to bring the right hand to the mat. We're going to bend that left knee again. And then we're going to rotate that left hip outward. So we're twisting to the left here, just with the lower body, upper body remains grounded. From here, we're going to inhale, draw that left knee toward the left arm, and then exhale, press back through the sole of that foot and extend through that left hip. So really pressing that sole of the foot around the body. Inhale, left knee toward the arm. Exhale, pressing it back. So continue with your own breath here. I want you to imagine there's always a box out to the side and you're trying to bring your leg over that box without touching it. So you're keeping your foot, your knee and your hip nice and high. Last one forward. Exhale it back. And then bring that left knee back to center and we're going to come onto the ball of the left foot and just press gently out through that left heel, getting a nice little extension behind the leg. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Left knee comes to meet right. We're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, again, check in that shoulder is over the wrist here. So we're not dumping back into the wrist joints. We're going to extend the left arm out, right foot back, bend the right knee and bring the sole parallel to the ceiling. Again, notice if the belly's got lazy here. So engage those core muscles, those abdominal muscles, release the lower back, and then see if we can switch on those glutes. Again, as we bend the knee, we're helping engage with that hamstring as well. And as we press the sole of the foot toward the ceiling, we're getting a little bit deeper into those muscles. For 3, relax the gaze. For 2, and 1. We're going to extend that right foot out fully. We're going to inhale center. As we exhale, reach the left arm to the left as we reach that right foot out to the right with control. Inhale back to center. Exhale it out. Really challenging the balance here. So we just have 2 points of contact on the ground. If it's too much, you can always bring that left hand to the ground and just focus on that back leg. Try to keep the hip, the knee, and the foot nice and high. So the foot tends to drop here. Last one, center. Exhale it out. Back to center. We're going to place that left hand on the mat, bending the right knee. And again, we're going to open the hips to the right side here. And again, if you wish, you can just stay here working on that lovely openness into the hip, that glute engagement and keeping that knee nice and high. Both hands and shoulders are grounded evenly. We're going to inhale, draw the right knee toward the right arm. Exhale, pressing back through that heel as we open into that right hip. Inhale forward. Exhale, press back. Relax the gaze. Inhale forward. Exhale it back. Really feeling those glutes burn here. Inhale forward. Exhale it back. The last one forward. Exhale it back. Rotating the knee back to center, and we're going to rest down on the ball of that right foot. Pressing out through the back of that right heel and just getting that nice little release into the leg. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to bring the right knee to meet the left knee. Bring both feet together. We're going to sit back onto the heels. So see if we can get those sit bones right sitting onto the heels. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands out in front, pressing the ground away as we do to feel that length in the spine and that connection of the sit bones on the heels. And then resting the head down either onto a block or onto the mat. Just make sure the head and neck are supported here. And then we're just going to bring the hands back by the feet to give the shoulders a little rest. Relax the breath. Notice where it is. Have you been bringing it down into the belly? Is it caught up into the chest? So we want to really benefit from the full capacity of that belly breath. Drawing it deep into the belly. And then sign it out as you exhale. Just allow the shoulders relax. Allow the arms relax. Just a couple of more breaths here to reset. And then when you're ready, we're going to extend those arms back out in front. We're going to come back through our tabletop. We're going to tuck both toes under, sitting back toward the heels here, and just feel that nice little stretch into the soles of the feet. From here, engage the abdominals and quad muscles to slowly hover the knees off the ground. So about an inch or two off the ground. We're going to hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. From here, we're going to bring the knees a little bit higher, so about 4 inches off the ground here. Feel the quads engage, feel the glutes start to fire for 3, for 2, and 1. A little bit higher, so here about a foot off the ground, start to feel those hips lift for 3, for 2, and 1. Engage those quads completely as we press the hips toward the ceiling and draw those heels down toward the ground, coming into our downward dog. So nice little upside down V here. So notice if the feet are way back here, we're not setting up for a plank, just a nice even upside down V. So not too broad, not too narrow. Pressing the ground away out in front. So feel that strength in the shoulder blades, spreading through the fingers, pressing the ground away and working the chest toward the mat. We're going to lift the hips high and then engage the quads to get a little bit more length in behind the legs as we draw the heels toward the ground. And just gently walk it out here. So allow opposite heels, melt toward the ground. Feel that lovely release into the backs of the legs. As we continue to press the hips skyward, feel that release in the lower back. So we get a nice little bit of movement in our downward dog this morning. We're going to look forward to the front of the mat, gently walking to the front of the mat, coming to a nice deep forward fold. So feet are about a hip width distance apart. Just resting the belly onto the legs as we take a nice deep bend into the knees until we feel that belly-leg connection. Hold on to opposite elbows, allow the head and neck fully relax, and just enjoy that release in the lower back. So don't think about the legs for now, just releasing through the spine. If you want, bring it into the backs of the legs. As you inhale, just pressing the hips toward the ceiling, so we lose that connection a little bit. And as we exhale, forward fold. So every inhale, think about lifting the hips. Every exhale, relax into that fold. Last breath, lengthening. Exhale, fold. And then allow those fingertips to melt toward the ground as we tuck the chin in and gently roll up to stand. Head comes up last. Lovely. Now is a nice time to take a drink. We're going to get a little bit flowier for the next section. So we're going to do a few rounds of our sun salutations. Again, I'm trying to access any little points of energy that we haven't accessed already with a strong focus on the core. So again, this is going to be similar to Tuesdays. If you feel that it's a little bit too strong on the shoulders at any stage. So I want you to imagine at all times when we're going into our planks or when we're in our downward dog, upper dog, anywhere we're into the ground, we want to press the ground away. So almost like we're pressed against the wall, and you'll start to feel those muscles around the shoulders engage. Okay, so if we dump into the shoulders, I'll just show you here, if we're pressing the ground away, they're engaged. If we collapse into the shoulders, we're going to hurt ourselves. Okay, so we want to make sure shoulders feel engaged. If they're just not feeling it this morning, make sure to drop down onto one knee, two knee, depending on the pose. So take the pressure off the shoulders. So it's something that we build on. We don't try to go into if it's not already there. Okay, with that in mind, core engagement, be nice to your shoulders. We're going to come to the front, feet about hip width distance apart. And again, just feeling all corners of the feet into the ground. So our feet are our foundations in our standing poses. So again, the less contact, so say we're up at our toes, the more we're having to challenge the balance. The more space we create between the toes themselves and from the front of the foot to the back of the foot, the more stable we're going to be. So again, you choose. The wider our base, again, feet hip width distance apart, a little bit more balance. The feet together, a little bit trickier. Okay, so again, you choose wherever you're at this morning. We're going to bring the hands to heart center, pressing the palms together as we draw the shoulders back, press the chest forward, engage the abdominals, engage the leg muscles, but keep a little bit of springiness into those knees. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, left foot to meet it. We're going to hold it here in our plank. If you know already it's a bit too strong on the shoulders, you can drop down onto the knees, but try to keep a nice long spine, nice strong core, keep the shoulders over the wrists. Otherwise, we're thinking about a nice line from shoulder to elbow and wrist. Again, elbow creases face forward. We're pressing the ground away, so feel that strength in the shoulder blades. Pressing back through the heels for 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest and chin to the mat. Keep the elbows tucked in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest forward, draw the shoulder blades back. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Again, in our downward dog, particularly for the first couple of rounds, just paddle it out, walk it out. Use it as a little break in the body. Relax the head, relax the neck, maybe shake it a little bit side to side. From here, we're going to inhale that right leg up, looking forward, stepping right foot into lunge with control. Left foot to meet it. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Just notice when you fold, it's totally okay to bring a bend to the knee. So don't feel a forward fold has to be straight legs touching my toes. We're thinking more about releasing into the body. So with a little bend, we're helping that lower back release and we're still getting that extension of the legs. Forward fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge. Right foot to meet it. Again, holding it here in our plank. If you need to come to the knees, please do. Think about that nice long line from the base of the neck through the spine, out through the legs, out through the heels. Notice that the hips are dropping, notice that the bum's popped up. So we want that nice long energy line all the way out through the top of the head. For 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest and chin to the ground. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press them into the ground as we lift the chest forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Again, really pressing the ground away out front, so feel that connection. And if you feel you're dumping into the wrists, maybe even coming up onto the fingertips. So a little claw action with the hands, and then even just feeling that extra space between the shoulders as you lift onto the fingertips. So just experiment with your downward dog when we have that time. Coming back onto the hands, we're going to inhale, left leg up. Looking forward, stepping left foot into lunge, right foot to meet it, exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Second round, when you're ready. Again, starting, feet nicely grounded, hands at heart center pressed together. So feel the strength in the body, even just in the standing pose. And even just notice here, are you putting a little bit more weight on your right foot than your left? Are you coming forward onto the balls of your feet? Are you dropping back onto the heels? So just make a few little circles with the body. Notice how that movement feels within the body. Notice where you might start to fall out and just make those circles a little bit bigger. Feels a little bit weird. But again, it's a lovely way of touching in with where the body's at. And you'll really notice that if there's anything going on in the ankles or lower legs here in particular. And then gently coming back to stillness. We're going to inhale, arms out, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge. Left foot to meet it. Again, you can choose to hold it here in a high plank. If this feels good, you want to work here, or else you're going to join me in a side plank. So we're going to bring the left hand to the center of the mat. Keep the left shoulder stacked over the wrist as we come onto the outer blade of that left foot. We're stacking the right foot on top of the left. Hand comes to hip to start with, and we're pressing the hip toward the ceiling. Again, notice if we're falling forward, draw that shoulder blade back and press the hips forward. We might extend that right arm up toward the ceiling, and we might even hover that right foot up in line with the hip. Keep that right foot nice and active. If you really want to challenge it, I'm not going to go there, you can bring the gaze up toward the ceiling. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the right foot, release that right hand back to the front of the mat. Readjust in our high plank. Feel stable, in control. We're going to inhale here, exhale, knees, Just chin to the ground, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the chest forward. See if we can hover the fingertips off the ground and keep that lift. Exhale, downward dog. Again, inner side planks. Remember, if it's been a little bit too much, we can drop down onto one knee. So listen to your own body here, particularly if you're feeling it in the shoulders. We're going to inhale that right leg up, still drawing that left heel down. Looking forward, we're going to step that right foot into lunge, left foot to meet it, exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge. Right foot to meet it. Again, choosing to stay here in our plank. You can come down onto the knees if you wish. Or we're going to bring that right hand to the center of the mat, coming onto the outer blade of that right foot. So if you need to come down onto the right knee, just think about continually pressing those hips up toward the ceiling. So hips are pressed toward the ceiling, heart is open, we're drawing that left shoulder back. We might extend that left arm up toward the ceiling. We might even hover that left foot off the right. Keep the left foot active as we continue to press the hips toward the ceiling for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the left leg, release that left hand back to the front of the mat, readjust inner plank, feel that stability. Inhale here, exhale knees, just chin to the mat, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, lift the chest forward, untuck the toes, downward dog. And again, check in with where that breath's at. Have we been holding it? Is it stuck up in the chest? So really try to access the full potential. Draw that breath deep. And as you exhale, you're almost squeezing the tummy muscles to get that last little bit of air out of the belly. We're going to inhale, left leg up, looking forward, stepping left foot into lunge, right foot to meet it, exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up, exhale, hands to heart. Third round, we're going to try our planks on our forearms. Again, if you feel that that's too much, stay in your high plank. And then again, just focus on working strength into the shoulders by pressing the ground away. So listen to your body. Come to the front of the mat, feet grounded, hip width distance apart. Hands to heart. Relax the breath. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. We can either step or lightly jump back to plank. If we're jumping, we want to land as gently as we can. So full core engagement, meeting in our plank here. And again, staying here if that feels good. If we wish, we can come down onto our forearms. Again, this time we're pressing the forearms into the ground to lift through the shoulders. Again, we can choose to stay here or we can work into a side plank. Again, this can be done with the knees on the ground here. Just keep the spine long. We're going to pivot on the left elbow, bringing that left forearm parallel to the front of the mat, and then coming on to the outer blade of that left foot. Right hand comes to the hip. We can choose to stay here. Again, keep that left shoulder over the elbow, so we're pressing the ground away, keeping that arm active. We might extend the right arm toward the ceiling. We might hover that right foot off the left, pressing those hips toward the ceiling for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the foot, release that hand back, coming onto that right forearm. Left hand comes back to center, back into a forearm plank. From here, we're going to press back up into our high plank, reconnect. We're going to inhale here. As we exhale, we can either go knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. So if you're joining me in chaturanga, just pressing the chest forward a little bit. We're bending the elbows, but we're keeping them tucked in. Slowly lowering toward the ground, hovering about an inch off. And then we're going to untuck the toes, press the chest forward, press the feet into the ground and draw those shoulders back. So wherever we're at, we're opening the heart, staying strong in the shoulders. If we're in upward dog, it's only the fronts of the feet and the hands that are on the ground. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog.
So although we're focusing here on our core and our stability, we are going to find this quite strong in the upper body. So again, listen to the body. Coming to stillness here. Option to either step or lightly jump to the front of the mat. If we're jumping, spring load at the knees, look forward between the hands where we want those feet to go. Engage the core as we lift the hips and then gently, softly land to the front. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Last side, inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Again, lightly stepping or jumping back to plank. Inhale here. Again, choose to stay here if you wish. Come join me on our forearms. Again, really pressing the ground away here. We can come down onto the knees if it's a little bit too much. Pivoting on that right elbow, bringing the right forearm parallel to the front of the mat. As we come on to the outer blade of that right foot, keep checking in that shoulder is over the elbow. Left hand comes to hip. Again, if it's too much, you can come down onto that right knee, but just keep pressing those left hip toward the ceiling. Opening the arm toward the ceiling. And again, lifting that left leg if it feels good. Hold it here. Keep the left foot nice and active for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the left foot down. Left forearm comes back to the front of the mat. Right forearm comes to meet it. Re-engage, and then gently come back up to our high plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to the ground. Either way, elbows tucked in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes. Draw those shoulder blades back as we press the feet into the ground. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Gently walking it out. Well done. Feel a little bit of heat generated in the body here. We're going to come to stillness here in our downward dog. Looking forward between the hands, we're either going to step or lightly jump to the front of the mat, landing as gently as we can. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Well done. Take a drink if you need it. Again, we're going to get a little bit stronger with our balances in the next flow. Can be a little bit challenging. We're going to go very slowly through it, which doesn't mean easy. It actually means we're really having to focus on engaging those stabilizers. But again, if it feels too much at any stage, take the variation, take a little break if you need to, and then just rejoin when it feels okay. We're going to meet at the front of the mat. Just leave a little bit of space out in front because we are going to fold forward. Feet about hip-width distance apart. Palms face forward. We're going to inhale, lift the right knee out in front. So keep nice right angles in the hip, knee joint and ankle. Notice if the left hip has popped out here. So try to keep the pelvis square, keep those hip bones in line. Nice square hips here. From here, hands are at the waist to start with. We're going to cross that right leg over the left and then see if we can hook that right foot behind the leg. Again, it's not going to be accessible for everybody, depending on our hip structure, bone structure, muscles. And again, if it's too much, you can always come into a figure 4 here, just resting the shin or ankle above the knee. From here, we're going to extend both arms out in front. We're going to wrap the right arm underneath the left. We're going to bend at the elbows, and then we're going to see if we can interlock the wrists around each other and bring the hands to touch. So prayer hands if you can, otherwise just catch hold of any part of the hand that you can. From here, we're keeping the shoulders away from the ears as we draw the elbows up in line with the mouth, if we can, or even a little bit higher. Keep the abdominals engaged. From here, we're going to see if we can sit back a little bit into our chair. So these are our single-legged balance poses. We're getting a nice bit of space in between the shoulders. Find a point of focus beyond your arms, something that's not moving, to fix your gaze on. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly come back out of our chair. Arms stay the same. We're going to bring that right knee back out in front. As we exhale, we're going to step back onto the ball of that right foot. coming into a nice high lunge. So readjusting that foot. If you need to come down onto that right knee to readjust, or you can stay here. From here, we're going to go a little back bend. Keep the abdominals engaged as we press back through the right heel. We're going to inhale, lift the fingertips up toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, take the gaze back. So just a little back bend here, but keep the abdominals engaged so we're not dumping into that lower back. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Elbows back out in front. We're going to twist that right foot so that the outer blade of the foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Get a little bit deeper into that left knee, into our warrior 2 legs. Just check in that that left knee is in line with the left toe. It's not tracking out to the right. We're going to inhale here, lift. This time as we exhale, we're going to reach forward toward the front right corner of the mat, keeping the arms interlocked if we can. Getting a little bit deeper into the hips. Try to keep the fingertips reaching forward. Try to keep that space between the shoulders. Rest the head, rest the neck. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale with control, back to center. Exhale, release the arms nice and wide into our warrior 2. Arms in line with the shoulders, palms face down. Draw those shoulder blades back and away from the ears. Feel the abdominals engaged. Feel those inner thighs work toward each other. We're going to hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Rest the right hand on the back leg. Inhale, left arm up. Flip the palm toward the back of the room. And then exhale, extend that left arm back overhead. Keeping the heart open. Keeping that left knee bent for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, back to warrior 2. Exhale, hands to heart, and we're going to twist forward to the front of the mat, coming onto the ball of that right foot. So again, high lunge again. Inhale, arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, hands to heart, we're going to twist to the left. Again, if you need to come down onto that right knee here, hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, both hands come to the front of the mat. Just stepping that foot forward until the knee is in line with the ankle. From here, we might choose to use the block. So we can place that block toward the center, but slightly off to the left. So center, but slightly off center to the left. From here, we're going to keep the left hand on the block, right hand on the ground, and then we're going to spring load on that right foot to lift that right foot up. And then we're going to see if we can hover the right fingers off the ground, maybe bring that right hand to the waist, and then rotate the body open to the right side of the room. So a little bit different. On Tuesday, we kept the hips even. This time we're trying to open that hip. Draw the right shoulder back. If you want to challenge it, you can always take the gaze toward the ceiling. If you're feeling particularly confident in your balancing this morning, hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Right hand comes back to meet left. We're going to bring that right knee to touch the back of that left knee. Coming down evenly, so fingertips are on the ground. We're going to hold it here, drawing the heel toward the bum. Again, if you want to challenge it a little bit, you can always bring the hands to heart center. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the hands back to the mat. We're going to bring that right foot to meet left. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to bring the palms again facing forward, so we're not doing the second side yet, still working on our right side. We're going to inhale, lift that right knee out in front. As we exhale, we're going to flip the palms back and we're going to press that right foot back as far as it'll go. When it won't go any further, we're going to hinge from the hips, bringing the chest forward, pressing back through the fingertips, pressing back through that right heel with control. Inhale, palms flip forward. We're going to lift that right knee out in front. Try not to touch down if you can. Exhale, palms flip back as we press that right foot back and then hinge through the hips. Pressing back through the heel, extending through the fingertips, working the chest forward. Inhale, palms flip forward and lift. Exhale, press it back. Last one, palms flip forward. Lift that right knee out in front. And then exhale, release. Well done. Shake that left foot out. So again, really checking in with those lower legs, those ankle stabilizers. And just noticing how balanced, how unbalanced we feel from one side to the other. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to come over to the other side. So again, same starting point. Feet nicely grounded, palms face forward. Draw those shoulders back, keep the core engaged. This time we're going to lift the left knee forward. And you're already going to place the weight into that right hip, so that's fine. It's just you don't want the right hip to pop out. Okay, so try to keep the hip over the knee, over the ankle. And just hold it here. If it feels good, you can always stay here. Otherwise, we're going to try to wrap. We bring the hands to hips. We're going to wrap that left leg around the right, maybe hooking the foot around the calf. If we're hooking though, and we start to twist to the right, just bring those hips back out in front. Again, figure four is fine here as well, if that feels okay. From here, extending arms out in front. This time, we're going to bring the right underneath the left, bending at the elbows, and then seeing if we can interlock at the wrists, bringing the palms together. We're going to draw the shoulders away from the ears, and then draw those elbows up in line with the mouth, and then see if we can sit back into our chair by bending a little bit into that right knee. Feeling this in the right glute. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Releasing out of our chair, releasing that left knee back out in front. With control, we're going to step back onto the ball of that left foot. Nice high lunge. Again, if you need to come down onto the left knee, re-engage, keep it stable, and then press back through that foot. We're going to inhale here, lifting the elbows in line with the mouth. As we exhale, see if we can extend those fingertips toward the ceiling a little bit more, and then come back, pressing the chest toward the ceiling. A little back bend here, but keep the abdominals engaged for 3, for 2, and 1. Relax those elbows back out in front. We're going to twist to the left and draw that left heel or left outer blade of the foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Keep that bend in the front right knee. Inhale, lift, and as we exhale, we're going to reach the fingertips toward the left-hand corner of the mat. As we keep the chest open, keep the spine long, and fall forward, getting a little bit deeper into the hips. Relax the head and neck. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, slowly back to center. As we exhale, release the arms out in line with the shoulders. Palms face down, gaze goes over that middle finger in the right hand. Almost imagining a line from the arch of the back foot to the heel of the front foot. Get nice and deep into that right knee if it feels good. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to rest the left hand on the back leg. Extend that right arm up toward the ceiling. Flip the palm back and then reach back overhead with that right arm. Really nice and active. Feel that stretch into the side waist. Keep that bend in the front knee for 3, for 2, and 1. Release back to our warrior 2. From here, we're going to bring hands to heart center. We're going to pivot on the ball of that back foot coming into our high lunge. Again, if you need to come down onto that left knee. Stabilize here. We're going to inhale center. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Again, this can be done with that left knee on the ground. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Back to center. We're going to bring both hands to the front of the mat. Step that left foot in until the knee is over the ankle. Again, if you have a block, you can use it, place it toward the center, but slightly off center to the right. That right hand rests onto the block. We can keep the left fingertips on the ground to start with. We're going to spring load on the ball of that left foot, and then gently bring that left foot back, pressing back through the heel. From here, hovering the fingertips off the ground, maybe bringing that hand to rest on the hip, and then opening that left hip to the left side of the room. So drawing that left shoulder back. Again, really challenging that standing leg. Keep the left foot active. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Left hand comes back to the ground. Both hands evenly, so either on the blocks or on the fingertips. We're going to bend the left knee, bring it to touch the back of the right knee, and draw that heel toward the bum. So we can stay here. If we want to challenge it a little bit more, we can bring the hands to heart center, hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Release both hands down. We're going to release that left foot back to meet right. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Same little sequence as we did on the other side. So again, feet spaced hip-width distance apart, palms face forward. We're going to inhale, lift that left knee out in front. Nice, strong right angles. You can stay here if this feels good and you just want to work on that standing leg balance. Otherwise, we're going to flip the palms back as we press back through that left foot as far as we can and then gently hinge forward. Pressing the chest forward, pressing the fingertips back. Keeping the hips even, square toward the front of the room. We're going to inhale, flip the palms forward, slowly draw that left knee out in front. Try not to touch down. Exhale, flip the palms back as we press that left foot back and then gently hinge forward at the hips. Excellent. Flip the palms forward. Inhale, left knee out in front with control. Exhale, flip the palms back, keep those abdominals engaged, press back through that left heel. Last one, inhale forward. And exhale, release. Well done, shake that right foot out. We have one last little challenging balance sequence and then I promise it's all over. And we're just going to do one round of it as opposed to 2 this morning. So I'm just going to come off so I'm facing you. It's a little bit easier for you to see what I'm doing. If you've a particularly squidgy mat, I'd probably recommend coming off the mat. And again, listen to your body. If you're slightly off balance or you have low blood pressure, just have something within reach that you can just tip onto if you feel yourself coming out. So I can stay on my mat because it's not too squidgy. You're able to see me. So we're going to start with hands to hips, feet nicely grounded, hip-width distance apart. We're going to lift that right knee out in front, keeping the hips nice and square. So we're going to inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to bend the left knee and we're going to press out, extend through that right foot as we sit back into that left knee. Inhale back to center, bend the right knee out in front. As we exhale, we're going to bend the left knee and we're going to press that right foot out to the side. Try not to touch down. Inhale back to center, knee comes forward. Exhale, bending into the left knee, pressing back through that right foot. Again, extending fully through the leg and try not to touch down. Inhale, right knee forward. Exhale, we're going to bend through the left knee. Bring that right leg behind the left. So a little curtsy here. Keep the hips even. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release. So I'm just showing you this one. We're only going to do one round both sides, but it's something that's a really good one for working balance, for working your glutes, for working your core, those lower legs, those little stabilizers. So a nice one just to bring into your own practice, whether it's yoga or strength and conditioning. Again, we'll come to the middle of the mat, hands to hips. Inhale, left knee forward. So again, notice if that right hip's popped out, you want to keep those hips nice and square. We're going to inhale here. As we exhale, bend through the right knee as we press out through that left leg, coming as low as we can. Inhale forward, bending the knee. Exhale, bending right knee as we extend that left foot out to the side. Try to keep the hips even. Inhale, left knee out front. Exhale, bending right knee as we press back through that left foot. Try not to touch down, heart is open. Inhale, left knee forward. Exhale, bend the right knee as we extend that left leg behind the right into a little curtsy. Keep the hips even. Inhale, forward. Exhale, release. Well done. Shake it out. Well done. Strong practice this morning, guys. We're going to come down onto the mat. A couple of minutes just to release through the spine, release those glutes a little bit too. So we're going to lie back onto the mat. Feet are flat, knees are bent. We just do a little glute release and then a few little spinal releases here just to finish the practice. So we're going to hug the right knee into the chest, rest the right ankle just below the left knee, coming into our figure 4. Keep that right foot active, so draw the right toe toward the knee and we're pressing that right knee away. Work the left heel toward the bum. And then we're going to inhale the left foot off the ground. Shin parallel to the ceiling, but that foot's nice and relaxed. And we can either interlock our hands behind the back of that hamstring. If we find we're rolling into the shoulders or the lower back's coming off the ground, we can get our towel or our strap, wrap it around the back of that left hamstring, just as an extra little extension of the arms so we can maintain that space into the chest as we inhale. As we exhale, draw that left knee a little bit closer toward the face. So we're just releasing into that right hip and glute. We've done quite a lot of glute work this morning, not a lot of hip opening, and make up for it next week, promise. So again, just enjoying that release into that right hip. Hold it here for 3. Every exhale, drawing that left knee a little bit closer for 2 and 1. We're going to release the left foot down. Cross the right leg fully over left. Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. And then we're going to shift the hips a little bit to the right. And then allow both knees drop over to the left. Coming into a nice spinal twist here. Taking the gaze over the right fingertips if it feels okay in the neck. And just checking that we're keeping those shoulders grounded evenly. As we inhale, try to draw that belly, that breath deep into the belly. And as we exhale, just see if we can release those knees out to the left just a little bit more. And again, feel that release through the spine, through the waist, through the core, and a nice little release into that right glute. Hold for 3. Relax the breath every exhale for 2 and 1. Slowly release it back to center. We're going to uncross the legs, hug that left knee into the chest, and then we're going to rest that left ankle just below the right knee. Walking the right heel toward the bum. Again, draw that left toe toward the knee so we're protecting that knee joint as we work the left knee away from the body. Keep that lower back engaged on the ground. We're going to inhale right foot off the mat, shin parallel to the ceiling, and then either interlocking hands or towel behind the back of that right hamstring. Working those shoulder blades together, opening the chest. As we exhale, see if we can draw that right knee a little bit closer toward the face. Feel that lovely release into the left hip. And again, you don't need to lift the foot off the ground. It just allows you to get a little bit deeper. If you're kind of over it, feel free to relax that foot down. Just work into a nice gentle release. For 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to release that right foot down to the ground. Cross the left leg over right. Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders. Palms down, and we're going to shift the hips a little bit to the left, and then allow both knees drop over to the right. Gaze goes over the left fingertips, and just enjoy that lovely spinal twist. So nice and easy. Don't feel like you're holding the pose here. I think more so like you're releasing into that twist. So allowing the weight of the breath and the knees bring you a little bit deeper into that twist. Nice deep belly breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. And again, if the knees don't fall over easily, just shifting the hips a little bit more to the left allows us to have a little bit more space for those knees to drop. Last nice deep breath here. Exhale, release. And then slowly bring it back to center. We're going to bring the feet about the width of the mat apart. Keep the arms where they're at. Allow the knees knock together. Inhale here. And as we exhale, both knees fall to the right. We might even bring that right foot onto the outer left thigh just to get a little bit deeper into that stretch. So again, releasing into that left hip, more so into the front here and into the side waist. Again, gaze can go over to the left for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back to center. Knees knock together. Exhale, both knees drop to the left. You might need to shift your hips a little bit to the right to get the knees to fall evenly. And then maybe rest on that left foot on the outer right thigh as we take the gaze over the right fingertips. Again, nice big belly breaths, feeling that release into the front of the body. For 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly release it back to center. Lovely. From here, we're just going to hug the knees in toward the chest, making a few little circles on the lower back, maybe 3 or 4 rotations in one direction, and then reversing it in the other, just massaging the lower back into the ground. Lovely, and then slowly releasing the feet, releasing the grip. We're going to gently roll over onto our right hand side. Just take a couple of breaths here in stillness. Notice how the body feels. Just allowing the breath catch up with the body catch up with the mind. And whenever you're ready, we're going to gently press the hand into the ground to slowly draw ourselves up to seat. Head comes up last. And we're just going to meet in any comfortable seat for you. So it could be easy cross-legged, it could be sitting back in the heels, legs extended out in front. So whatever feels good, just find yourself into a comfortable seat. And we'll finish with 3 nice active closing breaths. So we're going to open the palms to the ceiling, sitting nice and tall into the spine. Inhale, arms out, reaching up, interlocking fingers, exhale, just sigh it out, release and let it go as we stretch through those shoulders. 2 more like that. And then gently bringing the hands to heart center, pressing the palms together and just closing down the eyes here. And just thanking yourselves for creating a little bit of space in your Friday morning to come to the mat, to look after yourselves, to create some really good energy, some lovely balance, stability, some lovely strength work this morning, and hopefully bring that with you into the day and into the weekend ahead. Thank you as always for sharing.